my name is Kit, and I'm an aspiring author and new YouTuber. Um, just so you can get to know me a little better, I have been writing since I was a child. I wrote consistently for the most part and wrote fan fiction, as a lot of people do in their teenage years. Um, and then I in high school, I started trying to write my own personal projects. It has not worked. I am definitely the new shiny idea type of person. I tend to get very distracted from one story and just move to another, but I'm trying to stop that this year. Um, my so on the screen you'll see that we are in my writer reset dashboard. It is called writer reset because I had taken hiatus for quite a few months after the birth of my son. He is now 18 months old, and I'm currently 6 months pregnant. Oh wow, I don't even know how many months I truly am. I'm 27 weeks with the second, and I want to have feeling of myself again. And so I've been working on Project Briar, which is the very first one that I actually completed one draft of before I took my hiatus. But after re-looking through Project Briar, I found out that it is not what I want, because if I'm honest, Project Briar, I originally pantsed. And that meant that I had no idea where the story was going, what was going to happen, and now it's just a mishmash of random events happening that make no sense. So, but we're not here to talk about Project Briar. I wanted to come on here and show you my dashboard and what I've been working on here, and show you the template for my novels that I'm working on afterwards. And if y'all want to see it, I can also show you how I created this. Okay, so here's my writer reset dashboard. This is kind of a bad image, but it goes along with these other ones. I got it off of Pinterest and then just used Canva to resize to a shorter distance. But I did notice as I was doing this that there is if you go to more options, there is a crop image now, which, if you can't tell, when I took a hiatus from my writing, I also took a hiatus from this. And when I came back, I found out that there's now tabs on Notion, which is I am the type of person that needs everything up front, staring at me as soon as I open it. So right now I have on the left here, a 2026 to 2027 goals. This is a equation. So you see the utility 2026 to 2027. That's to get how you get that cool line underneath, which that's something I actually have in here under resources. I have a whole resource for just Notion formatting, which I grabbed from somebody else because I don't understand it at all. But anyways, back to here. Right now I have writing. That's also an equation. Obviously, I try to make it as personalized as possible to make it so I want to be on here. So here I have finished first draft of Project Briar, and I actually have it like this so I can put smaller goals under here, like outline Act 1, which I actually have just finished, and then I'd be able to do that. I did just get an Project Alien story idea, which I honestly just put right here. But I knew I wanted to brainstorm that eventually. That's pretty much all I have for writing. I do have a life one, which right now is just give birth without dying. I'm not the type of person who really cares about how I give birth, just that me and the child are fine. Anyways, to the middle. Actually, let's do the right first. So important. This curriculum that goes with this, getting back into writing, I wanted to start doing a assignments type thing. So I don't know if you've heard of those personal curriculums. That's kind of what I'm doing. So right now, I'm reading On Writing by Stephen King. And then once I'm done, I have a few assignments that I'm going to be doing, like making a writing routine. But I have it so the assignments are right here. Technically, they aren't even meant for right now. I have it so I start next month. Just so I have time to get the books in and stuff. So that's the actual page to it, which you can kind of see a snippet. I'm doing multiple curriculums, so here, let's just look. So for 2026, I'm trying to learn more about writing in general, so this is my thing. Here's what I have for books. I don't know why that's there. Like, for writing, I'm going to be doing these books. And I'm going to be doing some assignments for them, along with outlining, because I want to learn different types of outlines in order to figure out my style. I'm definitely still learning what is best for me. I also have a final assignment, which I'm not sure if I'll do. And then in 2027/2028, I'm going to be learning more about different horror or different genre types, because the thing is, I love all these different genres. I mainly read fantasy and science fiction horror. But I love the romance aspect in fantasy, so I thought reading some books on how to write a romance may help me learn how to better articulate relationships inside of my stories. Same with horror. I love horror. Project Briar is definitely, it's gonna have some dark aspects to it, which we'll get into eventually. And then underneath is the to-do and Project Briar, obviously. That's my main project. And what I plan to do is, if I have multiple projects I'm working on, I'm going to copy and paste this and then change it for that project. And then resources, I have it where I can go into here. And this is also a equation, and then underneath here is like, the channels I like with links. And then these are some playlists for some of these areas. So that's just a little bit of a resource for YouTube videos. Then Notion formatting, which is where I was saying, this is where I get all the formatting. This I got from somebody, I don't really know who it was, but I should figure it out and put it in the description. But they make it so you just copy paste and then put what you want for, in replacement. This is all the colors you can have and what you would put, which you can do colors like this, or you can use the hex codes. And then background colors, like, I think the main thing I struggled with is how to combine things. And then here's the different types of fonts that I use. I like the calligraphy, one. I really like the swooshy underline, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, so this one is just for me, which I did add on here, like Control-Shift-E. You can, so if I were to copy this and paste it here, see how it's not an equation? You highlight the whole thing, Control-Shift-E, and enter, and now it is. The reason why this one's bigger is because I actually turned it into a heading to make it bigger. Or if you can't, then there's, the one sizing inside the Notion formatting. That's how I did this one, which we should get to the middle. So the middle, I have 3 things. I have working on, which is what I'm currently on, which is Project Briar, which I'm currently outlining, which I can move this to drafting once I'm there, and then to revising when I'm there. But right now it's outlining. And then I have this as kind of like a template for any new projects that I add. Now, back burner. This one, I have garbage pile. This means, like, I'm probably never going to go back to it. So, Project Detective, I enjoyed the idea of making a mystery novel, but the whole premise of that one is not my favorite, so now it's going to be in the garbage. But I'm keeping it in case maybe a character or a location I may want to keep. Learning. We're always learning, and when you start a project and you're getting into it and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can accurately do this or, do this well. That's where I would put it in learning. So once maybe I learn more skills in writing, I can come back to those. And then good bones. That's kind of like, the outline, like the story plot or story outline or plot or whatever has good bones, but I just don't I'm not writing it right now. So, like, if I already had something on draft 1 and I decided I don't want to continue this right now, I'll just put it in good bones because I'm going to be coming back to it eventually. The last one is ideas, which I don't know why it's so big there. So, this is ideas. So, like, world. Project Yggdrasil, I only really have the world planned out, no actual story planned out for it. So that's where Project Yggdrasil is here. So is Project Arboretum. I have a somewhat story idea for it, but not really. Mainly I just know the world. Character, Project Unordinary. That's one where I want to make a character similar to, I got a name. Gotta brain the names. Ken Kaneki. Yuji Itadori. Like, those types. So I want to make it more similar to Kaiju number 8, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Tokyo Ghoul, where the character is ordinary in the beginning, and then suddenly they're not for some reason or another. But I have no other ideas for it, so that's why it's here. And then Project Silent Hill. This one is, I have somewhat the story, which here I can kind of show. So its story is, after living her life in the basement of a serial killer, the main character has finally killed him with the help from the voice in her mind. Forest is all she sees for miles, and she swears she hears his steps behind her. When she finally stumbles upon a town, it's not what she'd hoped for. There's nobody there, and fog seems to have devoured it. The more she investigates, the more she finds. Monsters that roam around, haunting her with memories, people frozen in time, and a woman who nearly kills her. The MC just wants peace in life again. But to do so, she has to find what's causing this phenomenon and fight against the things trying to tear her down. See, I have it in ideas, even though I do have the story. I just don't want to work on it right now. So that's where it's staying in the ideas area. And if I'm honest, I kind of just threw that up in a whim when I was like, I don't know what I want. Because originally Project Silent Hill, I had started a draft on it, but it was about a witch. And same with Project Arboretum. Those two I started drafting with no idea what I was going to be doing. It was one of those pantsing, but I'm trying to step back from pantsing and, start outlining. Okay, now that's my board. Story template. This is what a lot of my things have, or all of my novels will be using, which you kind of saw a little snippet of it with Project Silent Hill. I do have a little note just because I'm thinking about selling this possibly. So the blurb would go here, similar to Silent Hill. Over here on the left, it might be a little bit small because I like to try to make it so I get as much information in a small area. But once again, it's an equation. So say you want to do project blank. And then you hit, enter. So you can put the project title here. The genre right here. Is it a series? Is it a standalone? What is the current status? And how many words is it? So that's those. Right here, if you can see, characters is right here, but there's nothing here. That's because of the fact that I wanted to make this all-inclusive. So I wanted to make sure that fantasy, you can go and take the characters from here and drag it over there. Same with mystery. I should get to sci-fi, but eventually. The next was settings. See, this is where I like to have everything where I can see it. So having it where I can go from just characters to settings with just a click instead of going from page to page to page. It works better for my brain. So here's location. I kind of had this landmark one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it. But locations, like here is a little example. Oh, it's the wilderness. It's humid. You can add more to this, like it's humid, hot, windy, etc. Things that you think would be important, which I'll show you a little bit more with Project Briar eventually. Fauna and flora. This is just like, because, okay, so this is kind of taking partly from Project Briar. Most of the story is in a bog. So I wanted to show, like, oh, the bog has spongy ground. Something that they may find is Venus flytraps and frogs. So that's how it is. I did add more down here, which I haven't put to the template yet, which I'll show eventually with Project Briar. So that's that one. Landmark is the same. I don't really know why it's there. But, oh, so if you do important landmarks, this is where you can put, I guess, the landmark. My idea was, like, say this is the cursed forest. Actually, just ignore this. Then you can go into here and be like, oh, an important landmark is the crashed ship. And then you can do this. Which, that's something you'll see right here. Color, maroon, locations. It's gonna look like that because I am using equations for the names of these. Wildlife, that's just where the flora and fauna are. That's because just in case you want to add, like, especially with a fantasy, if you have specific flora, specific fauna that you've created, that's what you can do, which I don't really have much in here because I don't really use this that much. Appearance, and then purposes, sorry. And then fauna, this is similar to the monster in the fantasy one, with the type, the size, the danger level, the intelligence, description, and the role in the story, if you have any. Here's fantasy, so magic is where like, oh, the source of my magic is rot. The character one is the user of said magic. These are the possibilities, which this is multi. So you can just put multiple limitations, what species, if any, use it, and then like a brief summary. Just below it, I have artifacts, which I don't use very often. I got some of this from a template I saw. So item type, you can choose from the list. Danger level. The current owner is character 1. Power, freeze on impact. The origin and creator, if that's, important to your story. Same with the description and lore. Is there a curse on it? Is it even used in the story? And then here's some questions that you may ask about the artifact. Monster, I use this a lot in Project Briar because there's a lot of monsters in Project Briar. But same as the fauna. Characters. Okay, I have a lot with characters. So my main thing is want, need, misbelief. These are important to me, so I know the character. But beneath it, I have important. So if it's fantasy, you may have a species that pertains to this character. What is the role? I have quite a few. You can add your own. Description. So I do this if I want just like a little bit of a blurb. Like Monster Hunter. That's what her job is. And you'll see it's right here. Which if you click it, you can actually do this and change it to match, your thing, so you can actually see it a little bit better and kind of organize it. Because the thing is, the problem with Notion is when you do this, it doesn't put the name of the category with it right here. But it's something I think is important that I want to see as soon as I look at the character sheet, So there's the important information, appearance. Personality, this is where you can put your Enneagram if you use it, or you can change it to be whatever type of personality thing you use. Strengths and weaknesses. Relationships, this is where you can link them to other characters. Like, oh, this is someone they're romantically involved with. This is somebody that's family, etc. This is where you can put their magic, what their species is, any artifacts that they use. Now, the thing is, to get into this in-depth information, something that I need, like if I choose Enneagram or strengths or weaknesses, I need more information, like a little bit of a deeper input. So if I were to go in here and say she's Enneagram 4, or 4, I don't really know much about these, so just ignore everything I say. Then I could be like, caused by this. She is very this way. She doesn't like this, blah, blah, blah. So I need that sort of extra information for myself. Same with strengths and weaknesses. Like maybe her strength is wielding a sword. This is where I would be like, she's the best at two-handed, can barely use a dagger, etc. So that's just something I do. Same with the, here's where the backstory would go, but same with the familial. So I have these where I could put familial, father. And then you put your history with them. So then you know what they did to impact your character through their life. Or what your character thinks of them. And things like that. That's one of the most in-depth things I have because I feel like characters really make the story. Then species, this is just description, characters, looks like I have something, but it's oh, that's just so I can have the little emoji. Sci-fi. I have spaceships, technology, aliens. The aliens is taken from the monsters. Technology is just type, use, description. Spaceships. I accidentally put spaceships on here. But spaceships, this is where you can do like cruiser, warship, etc. You can tag all the crew members, what it looks like. And down here you could probably put if you have images of it. That's another thing. These you can change to whatever you want. So something I do is with characters, I change it to be what the character looks like. Mystery is where characters, you've seen the character sheets. Clues, this is like type, is this a fake clue? Is this a hidden clue? Is this a real clue? What's the use? What's the description? What crime scene was it in? Is it important? What investigation? Which, as you can see, I did use some of this from somebody else. So I don't really... This is just like, oh, this is the interview with this character. Get out of here. Suspects. Who was the victim, if there was any? Same with the crime scene. I just took the world one because the thing is, the climate can be important to a crime scene. Because I don't know the name, but the TV show where she's really smart, and I think one of the first few episodes, she points out that on the video camera, the wind is pointing in the different direction, which points to the fact that that was a video from months earlier. So the climate can be kind of important. Oh, there was another part of that show where she noted a plant that only grows after fires. So that's some important aspects and stuff like that. What clues were found at the crime scene, what investigation is the crime scene for, etc. And then this is the investigation log, which this is the one that I used from somebody else. I don't really know who, but you can look at this and, you know, do that. Down here, I have the story beats. This I got from Mel. Here, I can actually see. Mel Torrefranco's Notion template. I watched her video and I really enjoyed the way it was. So I have the outline, which this is where I have the story beats, and then I were to click and then put a scene for that story beat. And then the reverse outline is like, say you're done with the story and now you're going through and trying to just put what's in your, like what each chapter is. Something I liked is that she did this. So this is pretty much your character's truth. This is Act 1, what they believe, and then Act 3, what they believe at the end. This is kind of my character's from Project Briar's beliefs right here. If you have multiple characters, this is where you can turn this into, you can do like tabs and then change this to character 1, character 2, character 3. So there's that. Okay, back to the template. So this is just kind of like an ease of access. I can just go and look at it. So that's the outline. Main document. This is something I liked with the Butter book. When you're first brainstorming, which you can put the blurb once you figure it out, but like big picture, what type of story is it? What type of world is it? What type of genre, etc. This was Bethany Atazada's. I kind of took off. This is where you can brainstorm everything that you're gonna put into your sheets, pretty much. So you just go until you have no more characters, and this is where your brain dump goes for the world. Now this is something I wanted to do. I just wanted a little summary of what I want each act to look like. Then foundational story beats. Brainstorm, this is where you can just put everything in before you want to put it into the main document as like an actual thing that you want. The story map, this is something I saw that I really liked, which this is somebody else's template, so I'll probably have to take this out. Oh, right here. Ivy Saskia, that's whose it is. But this is where you can kind of learn a little bit more about your story. Like, what is the novel about at its core? You know, so these were really, I really liked these. Especially when you're brainstorming your story, those can be really helpful. Resources, this is where I put the icons and the images that I'm using, and then I put the Notion formatting in here so you can see it. So there's my story template, and here's my writer dashboard. I hope you enjoyed looking through this, and I'm probably going to make a video on my Project Briar dashboard so I can really show you what the template does when you work it, when you use it. I hope to see y'all again, and I hope you have a fabulous night or evening or morning whenever you watch this. And I can't wait to go on this journey with you with Project Briar. Bye.